slide.
We try to fix what's broken, live a life with words unspoken. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. Who's here to tell us how now? Make our own rules in our mind now. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. You said you wanna change, why you still the same? You're always doing what you're told. What happened to your self-control? Reasons why escape and the consequences real. So tell me what's the deal? Oh, I don't wanna be this way. Oh, I know that it's not okay. Actions start to haunt me. Swore they wouldn't blind me. We try to fix what's broken, live a life like words unspoken. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. Who's here to tell us how now? Make our own rules in our mind now. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. Don't you dare give up so easily. That's what you said to me. I'm trying every single day. Is that more than you can say? Reasons why escape make consequences real. So tell me what's the deal? Oh, I don't wanna be this way. Oh, I know that it's not okay. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. We try to fix what's broken, living life with words unspoken. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit. Who's here to tell us how now? Make our own rules in our mind now. Looks like we start to stop it. We're all just creatures of habit.
So how did you get that towel and pull the paper out of his ass?
Yeah. I got a towel and I just had to grab the turd stuck in his butthole, and I had to slowly pull it out. You know, you can't just like pull it like starting a mower. You know.
Welcome
Anyways,
back, everybody.
That's how I saved my dog's butt.
Yeah. Pet ownership is the best. We may not be fans of PETA, but we love dogs. I don't think I'd do that for a cat. No, thank you.
Yeah, go PETA.
Yeah. We support some animals.
Woo.
So welcome back, Nerds Deep. It's been a fun week. The weather's getting nice out here in the Midwest. Billy, how is it out there? Is it finally warming up a little bit for you too?
Oh yeah. We got up to like 80, almost 90 the other day.
Holy crap. I don't think we've
Yeah, today it got up to like 78 today, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that my house did not get higher than 73 degrees. No air conditioning, just left the house closed up a little bit.
Nice. My mom was at 74 when I got home, but I'm trying to like really not use it as much as I want to.
Well, I have to be careful. I currently have some apple wine fermenting in my kitchen, so I have to be mindful that the kitchen temperature doesn't get above 70 degrees while it's fermenting. So if it does warm up too much in the house, I'll have to crank the AC on for a little bit just to cool the kitchen off. It's whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I support that. You know, we
can protect the booze.
Yeah, that's priority. So once again, I hope everybody's doing great. We thank you for joining us. Hit us with a comment. Phil is drinking out of his drink horn. And,
I just found it. I was excited. I saw it in the shelf, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a horn."
And I'm sure
this is like the greatest thing to take to the Renaissance Festival ever. It's worth, well, it was $70, but it's worth it because, you know, it holds like a good 18 ounces, and you can go up to the vendors and have them pour you to all the way to the top for the same price as getting a cup of beer. You know, because they don't want to take you away from your, immersion. So, you know,
yeah, and ye old days of the pours, the ounces were thus fruitful. So that.
Hey, look, guys, I'm on screen now. Nobody cares to see me anymore. Woo!
It's like the Brady Bunch in here.
It's fun.
Yay! Okay, goodbye. I'm going back to hide.
Love everyone. So, yeah. Speaking of, I don't know how to segue into this because horns are just way cooler than Nintendo right now. But
it even has a leather holster that goes on your belt.
Oh man,
Nice.
dude, you gotta give me a fighting chance here. Your coolness is just getting so high.
I know. Relax, ladies. Cool thine orgasms.
There's gonna be like a butt scratcher on there.
He's so cool because he's not that hot.
Well said.
So, speaking of Nintendo,
they don't offer you horns for your Nintendo Switch, but they do offer Super Mario Party online play. Wow. So Super Mario Party Online finally got an update, and now 70 of the 80 mini games you can play online with friends. It's actually the update that we've finally been waiting for since October of 18. That's kind of ridiculous. And what's really crazy is this game keeps selling. Just even before this update that literally just happened, this game has been selling an ungodly amount of millions of copies worldwide, and they haven't touched this game since 2018. It's just had like about 10 mini games, and it's been pretty lackluster. I mean, it's fun. It's like a Super Mario Party, but still, it could have been so much better. And now finally the updates come out, let's refresh it and make a gajillion more dollars. That's the Nintendo way. So for those who haven't seen it, update it. For those who haven't played it and have a Switch, it's Super Mario Party. You can't go wrong. It's fun.
Which I keep being told is kind of like Pummel Party.
Yeah, in a
Or
way.
Pummel Party is like Super Mario Party.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think Super Mario Party probably came first.
they're very similar in nature.
So it must be fun. I mean, I like Pummel Party just because it's fun to beat the crap out of your friends, but I guess that's the same thing as Super Mario Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time. The board game mini games they look really kind of dumb when you catch a quick trailer or something online, but they're really fun in person.
Yeah.
And they bring out a lot of shit talking, which is always a good time.
Yeah.
So
Picture-
the online mode supports up to 4 players at once,
Ooh.
but you can't have 2 players playing on their own systems playing with another 2 players using a third system. Which is kind of, I mean, it's kind of weird, but I guess I get it. I mean, why not just log in with the same lobby code? I don't know.
Once it's Nintendo, but when you go through all the loopholes, it's a good time. So hopefully there's more Super Mario news coming. There's a big name state game release that's still kind of on the horizon, not confirmed, but there's supposed to be another 3D game coming that should have happened last year. But obviously COVID and the advent of Animal Crossing kind of fucked everything up there, because Animal Crossing just timed everything right, and the whole world played that game. Like, it's still on the top 10 charts.
Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Wow.
In the UK last week, it was like 5th place or something. It's insane. Still selling millions and millions of copies. It's just bonkers.
Gotta love those addictive games, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is you don't just play it for 8 hours and you're done. You're invested. And if you actually play it and become somewhat hooked, you're dumping 100 hours in Animal Crossing. It's not hard.
Reasons I can't play World of Warcraft anymore.
Exactly. I refuse to buy those sorts of games because I don't have that time, and I'll make that time if I'm that addicted to it, and it'll screw everything up in my life. So props to all my friends that have Animal Crossing, because they still play it all the freaking time. So Monster Hunter Rises April update hit Tuesday, adds Elder Dragons and Cameos. So Capcom revealed this new video on Tuesday. So Capcom has got a lot of rascally news lately, but we'll focus on the Monster Hunter stuff. And this update, once again, if you have the game, totally worth it. Adds a lot of improvements. It has an uncapped hunter ranking system. There's all sorts of goodies in this thing. But check it out. The Monster Hunter's Rise will be on PC early next year. So for those who don't want to buy the Switch but love the franchise, it is coming to PC and probably Game Pass, just saying. So Miitopia, for those who have had a Wii in the past, I'm sure that you created your own Mii. Miitopia was a thing on the Wii U, and I mean, it's been since 2016. The Mii-themed 3DS RPG has finally reared its head, and we've got a demo of Miitopia on the Switch. It's just Nintendo cashing in again, and the Miis were pretty cool. Miitopia was actually, I played a little bit of it. It was It was interesting. Once again, it goes back to Animal Crossing. Damn it, I refuse to take part in that because you just sink so much time into it, but it's coming. The original Miitopia was strange, serving up a slice of irrelevant me-themed action, playing out something like a mashup of 3DS's Street Pass Quest, Tomodachi Life, and a traditional JRPG. So it's obviously pretty silly because it's Miitopia, it's me-themed. So you can do all sorts of crazy things with your character customization. There's horses. There's it's just nuts. Check the demo out if you got a Switch and you're into that, which a lot of people are. Tell us what you think about it. Is it going to be worth, I'm assuming, a $40 to $60 price tag when it comes out? I doubt it, but
kids will talk their parents into anything.
And I mean, if you can hang out with your friends and Animal Crossing is getting old, get Miitopia. It ought to be pretty cool. At least it'll be more cheeky fun, in my opinion, than Animal Crossing. So last week we covered Bluetooth being an update, like a silent updated hardware revision in the latest Nintendo Switch update. And everyone's asking about, okay, do we have actual like Bluetooth headset integration, and what other things is a Bluetooth capabilities going to do? And Nintendo answered nothing, mentioned nothing, refused to comment on it. So we have a modder, Bluetooth. He released a homebrew solution to essentially open up the Bluetooth audio driver. So now he gives you a walk around in a video and kind of a small download, and you are able to enjoy those Bluetooth features you've always wanted. The mod does require Nintendo Switch on firmware 12.0.0 plus, which is the last, I think, a month ago is 12.0. So a later Nintendo Switch revision.
It blows my mind that they didn't consider having Bluetooth audio on a portable gaming device, but
same here. And
I guess I mean, in terms of battery life, to have the receiver and the antenna going at the same time, maybe that was the consideration, or I don't know, maybe Nintendo's just lazy and doesn't care because they'll just slap, hey, it's Nintendo, and it sells automatically. I don't know.
I don't know. I know battery life is always like the question or concern, but you have your Joy-Cons, those are Bluetooth, and those have haptic feedback. Like, those are a pretty in-depth stream of Bluetooth data. So
then maybe it was hardware limitation just because they couldn't support all the bandwidth.
Or maybe the concern was if you do 4 Joy-Cons, which you can at one time, and then you have audio streaming to a headset, like, does that cause a potential for lag or interference? I don't know. But it was never enabled as an option. You would think if it could do it and not sacrifice battery, give the user the capability of that, but it's Nintendo. They do what the hell they want to. We know. I mean,
do what I want.
Oh man, have you guys heard anything about Dreamcast news in a while? Because we now have a new playable Castlevania Resurrection game. So,
and I'm really stoked about this because for those of you who were fancy enough to have a Sega Dreamcast, probably know that it was probably one of the most awesome systems that Sega ever released.
cool.
And I don't. What'd you say? Yeah, the VMUs were awesome. You could have mini games on the VMUs, but more importantly, the controllers felt solid. The game console felt solid. I remember playing hours of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it was the best on the Dreamcast. When they released it out on the PlayStation 2, the controllers did not feel as good as the Dreamcast controllers. It was almost like they designed it for arcade style games. Power Stone was another big one that I really enjoyed playing a lot on the Dreamcast. And I remember the Castlevania game getting teased at us, and then the game got canceled. Dreamcast obviously went by way of the dodo, and I know that there's some people that are trying to revive the Dreamcast stuff, but yeah. So I'm stoked. I've always loved the Castlevania series. always been a big fan of Castlevania, so I was really stoked that they're bringing this Resurrection demo out, and hopefully it'll be as good as I remember.
So what I love about the Dreamcast is it really pushed the genre. It really pushed console hardware to limits. Dreamcast was a stouter unit than the PS2.
Yeah.
It just was faster. It was more impressive. Everything about the Dreamcast was just more cool, except for the game library. And that's obviously why it disappeared, because Sony couldn't quite keep up, or I guess Sega couldn't keep up with Sony. But the Dreamcast was a solid machine. I love mine.
Well, the other part of it that PS2 had an advantage of is that it was also a DVD player, which you could not do with the Dreamcast. Now, Dreamcast also had a modem, but the PS2 had to come out with a modem solution later with a hard drive and stuff like that. So there was PS2 basically had a big jump start. Dreamcast just wasn't going to survive, especially with the Xbox coming out. I mean, there was a lot stacked up against the Dreamcast. It was still a great machine. It just couldn't compete with what Microsoft and Sony were doing. So that it sucks, but at the same time, it's like one of those. It's one of those consoles that will always be a cult classic.
Yeah, and like you say, Phil, it's as hardware enthusiasts, we love the Dreamcast for what it was and how good it was, but Sony just played their cards right, and that embedded DVD player, and then the PS3 with the Blu-ray, and winning the high def, video disc category. Like, Sony put their foot in the door at the right time with the right hardware, and it panned out for them. Plus, they have just an insanely cult classic following of first parties, and obviously they dominate Japan. So Sony knew what they were doing, and Sega with the Genesis, with the Saturn, with the Dreamcast, like all their consoles were really good and bulletproof. The Dreamcast just kind of didn't quite do everything it should at the time. And the Saturn was a disc player, but it didn't do what it was supposed to, and it was super expensive. So just my good friend had a Saturn, and man, that thing was impressive when it was new. It was a cool machine. I remember that was like the debut of Tomb Raider, if I'm not mistaken. And he had Tomb Raider, which led me to buy it on freaking PS2 and PS3 and PS4. So
yeah.
Oh man.
So as far as the Resurrection demo is concerned, it's not the full game; it's just the demo. But another part is that you can get the original GD-ROM files, so you can burn it to a CDR and play it on Dreamcast. Also, a benefit of the Dreamcast was it was so easy to pirate games.
Yep.
But then also a compressed version for download for people who run emulators, which, if I could get, I need to look into this more, because I know I put a Super Nintendo controller through the paces and converted it over to USB and stuff like that. But I would want to get a hold of a Sega Dreamcast controller and be able to get that set up, because like I can emulate Nintendo 64 games and Dreamcast games, but without the correct controller, it just does not translate well over to like a PS4 controller or whatever like that. So, anyways, it's just the demo, but it's there.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's nostalgia at its finest, and Castlevania's badass. What can I say? That's just to kind of be able to hack something pretty easily, put it on a CDR. I mean, I guess I have a 5 1/4 drive somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to find one anymore. But it is cool. So for those who want to kind of have a cool hack and play a demo of something that wasn't really ever released, like that's pretty awesome. So Stadia made news again yesterday. I know.
Oh yeah, no. By the way, if you don't know what Stadia is, it's the most failing thing Google has ever done. And to add on to that, it took them over 500 freaking days to figure out a way to search through their 170 odd games. So, I mean, I'm glad that they're making progress. You would think that, Google would have search features down, kind of out of the gate.
Jesus.
So, as a lover of irony, this really, impresses me, especially that they have this revolutionary search bar. So it'll be going out to anybody who still happens to be subscribing to Stadia. You'll be getting that sometime this week. And they're going to give you another way to sort your player libraries so you can track purchased free and pro games. And they teased an upcoming activity feed that it plans to roll out, which you would think day one features, but it's Google
a year
Stadia.
and a half features, man. Better late than never. It's kind of never if you look at it.
Because they also stopped all their game production companies, right? So they're not even producing games for Stadia. It's up to developers to support it.
There will be some more releases on Stadia. Like Resident Evil Village was supposed to release the day of on Stadia. The thing is, it's too little too late. And for those who have the search bar, I just seriously question how you haven't scrolled through the Stadia library and actually seen what's available. It's 172 games. It's not like it's going to take you,
it's a one-pager scroll.
Yeah, I don't know, 10 minutes of scrolling and really looking at shit. Like, it can't be that damn difficult. So, Lord, Stadia.
Hey, we still haven't heard anything out of Amazon for their little streaming service, right?
The Luna? No.
The Luna, yeah. So, all right. Well, so eventually there might be the Luna from Amazon where you can do basically what Stadia does. But I think Amazon is probably in a state of like watching what Google's doing and saying, "Oh no,
abort!"
Yeah. Cease.
Stop sinking money. I mean, if anybody could just dump $1 billion and really make a cool streaming platform, Amazon could. You can't tell me they're not hurting in any facet of the company.
Well, not to shit on Twitch or anything, but Amazon can barely hold Twitch together.
Exactly. What the fuck is going on?
You would think that they would have plenty of resources to accommodate, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem feasible unless they do something with the Twitch platform on its own. I know it came from Justin TV, and Amazon ended up buying it, but to see their amount of investment into Twitch, it's really not a whole lot, and they're still slow to adapt to basically anything. So I don't know, but hey, good luck, I guess. I don't know. I'm still under the dome of I'd rather have a physical copy for a physical console or a PC. I don't want to stream my game because I don't want input lag. I don't want anything that's irritating me just because of connection speed. Like if their servers take a dump, I can't play my games, right? I'm always about the idea that I don't want to have to require internet just so I can have fun with my stuff. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to buy $300+ console and then be chained to the internet 100% of the time. I mean,
yeah, and the console itself is just basically a controller, right? So
yes. I mean, I know that's where we're headed in society. I get it. Like your PS5 and Xbox need internet connection, but I can still buy a disc. I can still put it in my console and enjoy it. Or I can download it off Steam and enjoy those games without always being on the internet. Like, I get it. It's kind of a silly argument, but still, I'm under my aluminum hat, and if I can buy a physical copy, I want to.
Yeah.
Even on my Switch, like, everything's available on the Switch online library, and I still will go to Target and Walmart or whatever and buy a physical copy, or Amazon. Damn it, Amazon. So, to keep on the shitty news brigade, FIFA 21 has come out, and it is dominating UK sales charts at the #1 spot. Big fucking shocker there. FIFA is probably the most sought after popular video game in Europe because of, football or soccer, in this.
It's football.
It's football.
It's football.
So EA is known for being very upstanding, not shysty, not lying to you at all, or trying to steal your money after you bought the game through illicit gambling techniques. They are all of those. I love this. So they say this week has been really kind of flaming EA hardcore, every news outlet, for these loot boxes, because they're in FIFA Ultimate 21. And
Surprise mechanics, dude.
yes, and what really just irks me is EA's been pretty quiet and letting their lawyers handle a lot of different things over the past year. But when FIFA comes out, like, it is their freaking cash cow. FIFA rolls in billions with a B of dollars in revenue from loot boxes, not just the freaking game sales.
No, that's not just in Europe. I mean, in America too. I mean, FIFA is a huge game. Everybody loves playing FIFA.
It is, but Europe, it's like, obviously, if you piss off any part of Europe, like, it'll screw everything up in a landslide approach.
Oh, sure.
So they're very, very particular on keeping the name very good, very clear. So they're adding a lot of clarity to these loot box conversations this week. And I mean, to the point where people have leaked inter-company documents kind of outlining that how they're guiding players into the loot boxes in FIFA. And to the point where EA disputes all these claims and how loot boxes aren't a big deal. And you don't have to take part in, DLC purchases to be able to complete the game. And somebody said, okay, well, I'm going to number crunch this. And here's my FIFA 21 dream team. This is the people I want to beat the game and to build this dream team. It's going to take me 22,000 hours of gameplay to obtain my team where I want it. 22,000 hours, because as you win a match, you might get 1,200 coin, and this team he was putting together was over 100 million coins, which you can buy, and you can build that team right now, or you can just grind it out for an estimated 22,000 hours of gameplay. That's
but there is a workaround. You can trade your way to the perfect team.
Yeah, you
All
don't
you
have
need is
to buy.
59 days of training 24/7. Nice, by the way.
Hey, if you had a PS5 and the new patch they're talking about, it'll play it for you. You'll just rake all that coin in, and you could just go have dinner for
That's
a year.
true. That's true. And but doing it that way in the 69 days, nice, by the way, will also cost you something shy of 80,000 pounds. So, I mean, I can be a fan of a game, but there's no way I'm dropping that kind of money on a game that I already bought. So, I don't know. It does seem shiesty. It feels like one of those like those phone games that are like, hey, play for free, and it comes with ads, and then also like if you actually want to do good in the game, you have to buy these special packs, and
Yeah,
the next
it's $2.
the next month it recycles, and all your crap that you paid for is basically worthless. And I mean, it's a money grab. It addicts you. I think EA is just getting slammed for this loot box thing because it is becoming a crappy practice. It's like, hey, you bought this game, you want to play it, but all of a sudden there's this money tied to if you want to create like your favorite team or your favorite this, that, and the other. It's no longer it's already there in the game. You can do it, but you're gonna have to just give up 20,000 hours of your life to do it.
And let's say like this dream team is the best of the best and probably not really feasible to have a really good experience. Let's say choose a team that's half as good, and that's still, if it's over 10,000 hours, I mean, I'd freak out when I have to spend over 100 hours in a game, and I'm not completing it or seeing the end of the tunnel or getting ready for the next gen patch or the next installment. Like, thousands of hours is insane.
That's a lot of, and especially, well, showing my age, I mean, especially when I have limited time already. The idea, maybe I could understand a kid that's got nothing to do for 3 months during the summer when he's out of school or whatever. But when you've got a full-time job and you've got other obligations and stuff, dumping thousands of hours into a game is just not feasible. It's just too much. I mean, yeah, over time, maybe over years, you could accumulate that much time. But to do anything significant in a short time frame and with that kind of demand of activity, it's unrealistic. And I'm glad it's finally coming to a head. I'm glad that countries like Germany are getting in on this loot box thing, designating 18 plus games, kind of really shoving it to EA, saying, knock it off. Like, why don't you just make a game that we can play in a reasonable amount of time? We can unlock the stuff we want to unlock. But I realize that's short money. But I don't know, maybe make a new IP or something interesting.
If you play like your full-time job 40 hours a week, if you play something as a full-time job for 3 months in the summer, that's 480 hours. That's not even close to 1,000, let alone 10,000. Yeah, you're insane. You're going to be putting your dream team together, a half-assed dream team together, without paying any additional money. It's going to take you till FIFA 23. Like that, you can't make that argument.
Do you get to transfer your teams? Like if you no, you don't get to transfer your teams. So you got to start all over when the new FIFA comes out.
Correct.
Yeah,
you don't transfer shit.
that's a shiesty business practice right there. I mean, I'm sure they're raking it in or whatever, but it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable concept when you can't transfer your teams. Like, I feel like if you're gonna invest time and money into a game, then if you're releasing new versions of the same game, just different players, new whatevers, you should be able to transfer all of that with every time you go over and over again. It's just, you know you're going to get the money from people buying the game anyway, but there's this whole idea that you can't transfer all of your stats and stuff like that. Like, what was it, Diablo? When Diablo was coming around, the new one, they were like, oh yeah, if you got a character, you can transfer your character over to the new game or whatever like that. I mean, that was awesome. Yeah,
it's a good power move.
Yeah, because all that time that you've already spent building up this character, only to have a company come back and say, "Hey, you got to start over, man. Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate the $100 that you gave us, but you're gonna have to go ahead and do that all over again."
Not to mention the time.
Yeah.
I know you can buy your way into a higher level, but still, I don't know. The argument could be made both ways, and I know legally, EA. What bothers me about this whole thing is EA has taken such a strong approach this week to answering all of these claims that they're calling blasphemy, and you don't have to buy all this stuff. This isn't forced on you, and this is as a convenience and very optional. And the fact that you're not forced to spend this money legally, as they're putting it, that's what's kept them out of the courtroom and paying all these settlements, because there's nonstop lawsuits going against EA from multiple countries, not to mention individuals, multiple countries suing EA. In fact, we have Canada suing EA right now for loot boxes. And this is nothing new. Canada is really forcing EA to answer a lot of these things. And EA, it's a class action. And let's see, it was filed on September 20th. British Columbia and Ontario. So we have 60 EA titles, including Mass Effect, Need for Speed, Battlefield, EA Sports Series, which we just labeled.
Oh yeah, there was the sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. There was a UK lawsuit where they were basically saying like, hey, loot boxes are basically gambling, but they ended up actually turning that over because they said that you can't cash out the loot boxes, so you can't get your money back. So technically, it's not gambling, which I agree with. I mean, when you look at it on face value, that's exactly right. I mean, you're just being duped into spending your money like an idiot to buy these loot boxes, and you could get something good, you may not get something good. So yeah, it is kind of on you if you subscribe to that. What would really be nice is everybody would stop buying loot boxes, like stop buying into this EA system of, hey, you don't have to buy this, but if you want to cheat your way through, here you go. This will give you an edge a lot faster. It would fix itself, but nobody's going to do that. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of expendable money, and they're going to continue to, just buy all the crap that they can buy to get better, get quote unquote better at the game faster.
Yep. I mean, Phil, you've nailed it. So as an industry, I feel like us as video gamers, we are now not putting up with certain things like shitty first party titles, AAA, quadruple A titles that are coming out that are broken, needing patching, buggy. Like, we're making a lot of noise. And are we costing these companies millions? Yes. But I think more or less like it's public embarrassment is really what's forcing these companies' hands, because it's not money. CD Projekt Red, I think, lost they refunded like 22,000 people or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
50,000 people instead of, and this was over the first quarter, and they'd sold like 15 million copies. So that's like
Right.
not even a fucking drop. So is it costing a lot of money? That's really arguable. But like you say, if video gamers unite and actually don't put up with shit, I think we're at the point where a sports game, granted, I know I'm probably in the minority here, I'll not buy it. If I don't agree, like Madden was one of the first ones where they would just rinse repeat. I know they didn't do loot boxes back in the day, but Madden never innovated. They just would tag some new player names on there, update
Adjust the stats a little bit from year to year.
total bullshit, and it was the same thing over again. And Madden 19 or Madden 12 or whatever, it was the same garbage. They wouldn't update mechanics, they wouldn't update anything. It just raised another $50.
Frank's Madden $70 roster updates. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were buying, was roster updates, maybe some color schemes because the teams had changed their jerseys and whatever.
I'm not a huge sports games fan to begin with. I mean, I remember being on the Atari and seeing the shitty ass boxing games and stuff like that. Like, sports games in the video game environment have never appealed to me because of how lacking in realism it really is as far as sport goes. Like, it just, like what you can hammer a juke button and spin around and do all this other stuff. I can see where the competition lies, and I see why people are like all about it because that's their favorite sport. That's what they do. I totally get it. Like, I'm not shitting on sports games in general. It's just I've never been a fan, so I've never seen the allure of spending more money on the same thing over and over and over again. Like,
but then again, I'm not a huge sports guy. I do watch. I do enjoy my Royals. I love baseball. I watch NFL plenty, but I've never, like, my brother-in-law works for ESPN, and his family, all of his brothers, and they all, whenever I go to an event at their house, it's all sports. And I'm like, yeah, I know how the games work. I know a lot of players, but I don't keep up with it, and they're just so far in left field with their.
They're the guys. They're the guys that can quote stats and who got picked from what team and all that jazz.
Yes, to their.
Props to you guys for having the memory for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's involvement, and I'm just like, look, I'm kind of a car guy, and I like games, and that's kind of my existence. I don't live behind a TV rewatching classical ESPN, sports games from back in the day to, I don't know.
That's wild. I mean, you gotta be a hell of a fan to do that kind of stuff. I mean,
you
everybody's got their crutch. I mean, I get it. I just, I don't know.
But then the arguments that come out about who's going to do what and how good and point spreads, and then you get gambling involved in there and bets, and like it's obviously $1 trillion industry, but it's just not my cup of tea. So props to those. I totally see how sports games, competitive people talking shit with their friends, playing against their friends, like that's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love co-op. I love, multiplayer, but sports games never really did it for me. And Phil, I'm glad you kind of share that same trait, but I don't really get the sports games either. I've had fun playing a lot of football games over the years, but never really was my go-to.
Y'all
didn't
talking
really
about
wanna buy
sports ball?
a $50 game. What?
Y'all talking about sports ball?
Sports balls.
Sports ball.
Sports balls. Yeah, I don't like sports games either. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.
Okay.
No, bye.
Thank you for that addition. So yeah, EA they need to learn, and it's going to take all of us, 100%. We've got to not buy something and make a change. It's not hard. You just don't give them money. Just don't put up with the rudimentary gambling. I know they shroud it in all sorts of things, but when you have basketball games that literally you pull slot machine levers to get cards, to increase stats and to trade things, and game mechanics that legitimately take your money for chance, that's gambling. And I'll go to Vegas and I'll gamble, but at least I know I'm gambling my money away, playing cards, roulette, whatever slot machines, but I know as an adult I'm walking in there to drink a lot, watch some lights and spinning things and hearing some jingles from a slot machine as it takes my money. I'm not doing that in video games.
Yeah.
Zero want and desire for that.
Now, one way that it could be possible that they could work this around would be something like, maybe you can cash out your loot boxes and trade it into, I don't know, some sort of game coin, I guess. I mean, that kind of opens it up to gambling.
Very
I also
much.
feel like instead of like loot boxes where the items are randomized, it would be better if, like, hey, kind of like the way Call of Duty does. It sets up a pack and it says, here's what's in the pack, here's how much it costs, this is what you get. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. I feel like that's the better option. Like doing random pulls like that just
Living
reeks
a
of
random
scum.
thing where I might nail it after $20 and just fucking dominate with ammo, capacity, shields, armor, weapons, whatever. And then you spend $150 and still don't have what I have. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is 100% gambling, where if you buy this pack and it comes with these items, to me that's DLC. That's downloadable content, or that's an enabled.
Yeah, it goes into a different ball game than hey, try your luck.
Yeah, I'm buying something that yields this effect rather than I'm spending money and I might not get anything.
And I'm almost positive they kind of spit this out as like, those vending machines outside of, like, I don't know, freaking Costco or whatever, where you put a quarter in and you could get a random toy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's how these lawsuits basically end up working out. It's like, it's no different than, you throw your money at something, you get something random. So what's the problem? Because now what are you going to do? You're going to ban the gumball machine with prizes inside,
Exactly. They're not stupid. This is not their first rodeo. It's not their 1000th rodeo, with class action lawsuits, no less. So Bill's right. They know how to dance around this, just like Pokemon trading cards. Ooh, I might get the holo Charizard in this one, and $100 later, and you don't have shit but a bunch of Pikachus. Like, I get it. I get the argument. It's just when my point is, when a little 8-year-old boy and his mom's got a credit card and she's like, cool, here, take the card, buy something, Billy, that's cool, spend $10 and make, you got to do the thing in FIFA to where you can play with your friends, like whatever he spends to his mom. And the next thing you know, they can't pay their rent and he's dumped $5,000 on a credit card overnight on FIFA or whatever, and they're totally screwed. Like, that's to where it's like, okay, the argument is real that this is a problem. And I get you can set those parental shields for your kids and all, but it shouldn't have to be that way. It's one thing content, but it's a whole nother.
I didn't know I spent $5,000.
Really? How could you?
You never know until you get the bill, man.
Yeah. Or your card doesn't work at the gas pump tomorrow
I mean,
morning.
I spent $300 today, but that's beside the point.
How does it feel? How does it feel, Billy?
What, spending $300?
Yeah, what'd you buy?
I bought a flight stick and a throttle.
Yeah, you got something for that.
Well, yeah, but it does feel nice to spend $300.
He's gonna get a DOA, man, and you're gonna watch him flip his shit.
No, then I'll just email them and be like, send me another one.
Buyer's remorse. Every time I click go ahead and order, I always like take 10 minutes and I just go pace around in my living room for a while, and I'm just like, damn it, did I really mean to do that?
I didn't do that this time. I was actually, unfortunately, I don't know if this is a bad thing or a good thing, but I actually felt slightly comfortable buying this and didn't really have much buyer's remorse. I was like, we're kind of okay right now. It was kind of nice.
Well, that's
Jeff
good.
and I just did synchronized drinking, by the way.
Synchronized
It
drinking.
felt right. It felt right. I spent $300 on that.
It felt right. Drinks
It felt
from
right.
beer.
It felt right. Kind of like that. Oh man, we're gonna digress here just a minute.
Do it.
It feels like there was that. Gosh, what was it, like the 100 or 150 gallon lube container that is like original flavor, And I'm thinking, like, I just want to order it once, not because I need to figure out. Well, it is because I need to figure out what original flavor means when it comes to lube, but I also have a 150-gallon tank of it, so I can do all kinds of stuff. Like, who knows? I might even
Water slide.
man.
Well, I was thinking I could spray it like onto yards and stuff, and like when people try to walk across your yard, they just like
Whoa!
whee, like.
There's a real
biodegradable, right? And it's water based, so it's water
Wait,
soluble.
I know what you could do. You could rebuild the penguin race from Mario 64.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Well, and another thought was all the hand sanitizer bottles I could fill with all that original flavor.
There's like blah, blah, blah. There's like bitch.
So
Original.
I think it's out of statute of limitations, but just in case, there was one time for April Fool's Day where I replaced my hand sanitizer with personal lubricant, and
That's awesome.
it is freaking hilarious to watch people come by your desk, pump out a couple pumps of the sanitizer, and then just like they're
Like,
sitting there
oh
the whole
my
time they're
God.
talking to you, and they're like,
This is still going to town and not even realizing it.
why won't it dry?
It's like it will. You're just not gonna like what you have to do. That's awesome.
So
Oh,
anyway,
man.
don't do that, kids.
Just don't
If
get
you
the
do-
oil-based ones that don't wash off with water.
Yeah.
Or silicone-based ones, whatever.
Oh yeah. Do it to the CEO's hand sanitizer. That's the best.
So for the quickest news of the day, you're trying to get somewhere back on the rails, is the Marvel's Avengers creative director leaves to go back to Naughty Dog. You may have known him as Sean Skag. He was writer, creative director for The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy. That's about it. We didn't get any better news around that. We don't know what he's working on. We just know that he departed Crystal Dynamics.
Ooh, that Avengers sucked ass.
Yeah, he's like,
Naughty Dog, what's up?
and that's about all they basically said is, hey, we can't wait to do awesome stuff, and we're gonna make something very cool. So,
Hey, Naughty Dog needs some shit for real. They need to do some shit. So, yeah, maybe it'll be great. I hope it's not 3 years before something great happens. I mean, it's Naughty Dog, so chances are it's going to be pretty good. But I feel like that was ooh, this shit is on fire and nobody likes it. So I think I'm going to go back to my old gig because that Marvel's Avengers game looks terrible. I've not heard anything good about it, and they're not capturing anything current in the Marvel universe right now. It's just a hot pile of garbage.
well, and they're not gonna do another Uncharted game. That's been talked about at length. They've
Yes, they
already
will.
said Uncharted's done. They
Oh, no.
said they might hand off the IP to somebody else, but nobody's gonna pick it up because it's not Naughty Dog, so nobody's gonna
Nope.
buy it. So it's just
Nope.
ridiculous.
It's going to happen. I've refused. It's going to happen. I'll take that bet. Phil, what do you want to bet? I give it 5 years.
5
You have to-
years.
you
That's
have
a
to know me
long
for-
lead time,
It
man.
is a long lead time. You want to shorten it? 3 years?
You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna remake it for the PS5. That's it. It's not gonna be a new adventure. They're just gonna remaster it and say, hey, now we got it for the PS5.
No.
I would give you
no,
5 years on that.
Should we roll for it?
No,
Let's
we don't
roll for
need to
initiative.
18.
Oh,
I don't know
think
what that
the
tells
dice
you.
I think that dice is weighted.
Hold yeah,
on.
that's high numbers twice in a row.
Okay, 11.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, that's a fair shake. Okay. So what are we putting on this? It's on the stream. It's recorded, man. $50.
$5, 5 years. I say that's fair.
$5, 5 years,
It's a
and a
dollar a
six
year.
pack of anything.
$5 and a 6-pack. What if I
Yep.
use the $5 for the 6-pack?
That's fine.
What if I just brew the 6? Well, yeah. Let me just do that. I'll just brew
Yeah.
up a 6-pack of some crap and then hang on to it for 5 years, and then I'll be like, here you go.
In
Enjoy.
the
It might be
garage.
really good
Or-
aged after 5 years.
It'll taste wonderful.
no, that's true. My apple wine, I tried that after 3 years, and it actually got really good.
I don't know, man. I'm holding on. The faith is strong. If they made the Lost Legacy, it looked great. Storyline was kind of shit, but
See, they ran out of steam, man. It's not gonna happen.
oh, it's gonna happen, man. It's
A
gonna happen.
remaster maybe, but I doubt that they would ever bring that IP back.
they're for sure gonna remaster it. That's free.
Weren't they supposed to do a live action movie too?
I'm so glad they did not. Oh my god, that would have been
Okay, but that was like over 5 years ago, wasn't it? So I think I'm pretty good on this bet. I think you're going to end up buying me a 6-pack of something good and handing me a $5 bill.
Yeah.
And I want it crisp, fresh from the bank.
Okay, I might even do $2 bills and a fresh one.
Hey man, as long as it's clean money, okay?
It ain't gonna be clean when I give it to you.
All right. Anyways, moving on.
Oh man. Yeah, so I think it's a good point to kind of create a rebuttal here out of nowhere before we get into Xbox news. I think we do need a break. But
Yes.
Billy, you gotta pee that bad?
Yes.
His teeth are probably hurting right now.
Are they floating around in there? All
Little
right. Well,
bit.
we can, for once, we can do it a smidge early, and we'll see here in a little bit.
And we'll work on that wedding style conversation later, Frank.
Bye.
Maybe.
Be right back.
I've been a wild rover for many of years. Land I've spent all me money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store. No, I'll never play the wild rover no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more. I went to an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady me money was spent. I asked her for credit, she answered me nay. Such custom as yours I can have any day. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more. I took from me pocket 10 sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said, we have whiskey and wines of the best, and the words that you told me were only in jest. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more. I go back to me parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And as they forgive me as oft times before, no, I'll never play the wild rover no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more. spinning colors, paint a picture not so easy on the eyes. Let's give it one more try, all on another, just to make it through the night. Tell me everything will be alright. Only lonely, alone tonight, telling the secrets they held inside. Face it, your moment is long since died. But I'll go on forever. Take what you wanted from me. Now you're going to leave again. It's over forevermore. Just what you wanted to see. Rip the heart out of me again. It's lying on the floor. Misdirection, telling me no lies. I can't decide what it takes to die. And it seems that things have changed. Now my world is not so dark and gray. Only the lonely, alone tonight, telling secrets they held inside. Face it, your moment is long since died. But I'll go on forever. Take what you wanted from me. Now you're going to leave again. It's over forevermore. Just what you wanted to see. Rip the heart out of me again. It's lying on the floor. Memories only as good as your character was back then. If you're going, then please just take my hand. Then take my hand. Then take my hand. Then take my hand. Take what you wanted from me. Now you're going to leave again. It's over forevermore. Just what you wanted to see. Rip the heart out of me again. It's lying on the floor. Take what you wanted from me. Now you're going to leave again. It's over forevermore. Just what you wanted to see. Rip the heart out of me again. It's lying on the floor.
Welcome back to Nerds Deep, where Phil's getting deep. Deep in
I'm about to get
silicone
deep in rank.
discussion, the tank. Phil might be making a bomb or something because there's a lot of silicone and pressurized tanks going on. I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Every time the cops show up, they always wonder, like, what are you doing with all that?
You get those conversations too?
Oh yeah.
They're like,
I got to show the fine people at the police department my brewing setup, and they were like, "Wow, like, what do you make with all this?"
yeah, there's a lot of tubes and regulators going on, sir. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've got my plasma cutter, my big compressor in the corner. Like I said, I had a 50-pound nitrogen tank chilling next to that. Like, it's an OSHA disaster in my garage, but it sure as hell looks a little suspect.
OSHA would not approve of what I've got going on. But hey, you know, you brew with what you got.
Right. and I don't chain it to the wall. Fuck all that.
Everybody always asks, "What are you making meth?" It's like, oh yeah, tons of that.
Yeah. I'll be commercially making meth if that's what it looks like. Come on now.
Who uses CO2? Never mind. Let's not get into that. That's not what we're here for.
That's right. We're here to go nerds deep. So Microsoft's gaming revenue shoots at 50% this quarter. I wonder why. It's not the gold. It's definitely Game Pass. Game Pass has done so good, and it is good currently. I hope it stays that way. I hope Microsoft keeps pushing their streaming platform. According to their stockholders meeting, they are shooting for a certain amount of growth that is sustainable, and they are obviously surpassing that growth, but they're trying to be smart about it and keep it a long-term strategy rather than let's just shoot for the moon, see what sticks. Because let's be honest, Microsoft does that a lot of times, and I want Game Pass to succeed because that will. Thank you for that interference, Billy. I appreciate that. but realistically, like, we want Game Pass to succeed. We want a streaming platform for games to work. Because
and don't forget that 50% figure also includes their Bethesda acquisition. So
EA,
yeah,
all that shit.
And I know Minecraft is still big, which it should be. I mean, that game was huge when I remember when it was in beta and people were blowing it up. So, you know, that I'm not surprised that Minecraft is pulling. The Game Pass has been great. I'm kind of getting nervous about what Sony's answer to this will be, because I feel like Sony could provide the same thing, but it's just not in the PC business very well.
Yeah.
Even their computer business on its own, you don't really hear people jumping up and down to go get their new Sony Vio, whatever it was called.
The TV?
No. They're laptops, their computers and stuff like that.
Was that the Vio? I think it was a Vio. You're right. It was a Wake TV. That's right.
Yeah, but you know, so it's fine as if Sony focuses on their consoles and all their other stuff that they do. You know, as far as creating good first party titles. I know we're gonna get into Ratchet and Clank later, which was awesome. But yeah, it's not surprising that the Game Pass, because it's cross platform with your Xbox and your PC stuff. I'm not surprised that it's working, because it's very, very. Besides the fact that their main competitor is probably going to be like Steam, you know, it's very attractive. I've thought about getting it a few times, but you know, I just stick with Steam stuff. And if I can find it on Steam, it's good. But I can also see the allure of getting a Microsoft Game Pass. So
we'll talk about Steam here in a second, but Microsoft is becoming more aggressive in their strategies, and it's well placed. It's going very well for them. And the Xbox Series consoles are doing extremely well. I think they're selling like 10 times better than any other prior generation, which, if you think about it, yes, are their sales anywhere compared to the PS5? No. But if they're still doing better than they ever have, that's what we want. We want multiple consoles, physical hardware consoles, to compete each other, as well as I want multiple streaming platforms. I wanted Stadia to succeed. I want Luna to be a thing, because I don't want it to just be Microsoft. What happens when Microsoft is the only player? They get fucking lazy. They always have. Windows Vista. Ugh. So
I was going to say Windows Me.
Oh boy. Yeah, 2000 XP was, 2000 Professional was the shit. Then
or Windows 8.1, which immediately got sacked.
What about Longhorn Vista?
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus.
They went from let's forget about Windows 8 altogether and let's just go to the Windows 10. We're going to skip 9 entirely.
That was 8 was so bad, 10 it is. So Microsoft knows how to fuck it up. So hopefully they know how to keep succeeding now, because this is creating a boom in the industry that is booming. But Game Pass is a really good thing. It's a good use of your money. It's fun. There's a lot of other counterparts that are joining Microsoft, aka EA, and their game suite, which has a lot of really good titles. I know we shit on EA a lot, but they do make good games. So yeah, Microsoft needs to keep pushing, because Sony, to the counterpart of this argument, Sony is being lazy. Sony is being cautious, and Sony is piecemealing, first party titles that do very well, and they're great at making exclusives and first parties. They really are, but they're losing exclusivities, and their first parties are great. But if you have to wait 3 years for another first party, yeah, I mean, we just talked about Naughty Dog. You're going to be waiting a minute. So Sony's not playing a good strategy here if they want a long-term success against Microsoft. Keep in mind, Microsoft Xbox has always been garbage in sales comparison. All right, Xbox fanboys, chill out. But if you look in Japan, you sell more Nintendo DSs than you do the fucking series consoles. The Xbox One didn't sell shit across its entire life. So yeah, Microsoft has the ability to really push.
I think Microsoft really landed on their face hard when they had the Red Ring of Death issue going on.
Yeah.
And they basically had to extend warranties. They had to offer free replacements. I mean, they really pissed off a lot of people by going cheapo. And, Sony reaped the benefits of that, even though they had their own Yellow Light of Death issues. But
yeah, wasn't near as bad. But
not nearly as bad, no.
I went through 2 PS2s and 3 360s, so I didn't even game that hard.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to root for Microsoft just because they've done this in the past where they do a lot of really cool stuff, but then suddenly they just drop the ball, and they do it in the worst way possible, and usually it's not even a sorry about that,
yeah.
We'll just extend your warranty for 1 year. You still have to pay to ship it back to them. It's like, come on.
I know we're gonna go nerds deep in it real fast, so just bear with me. I read a statistic like over 70% of 360s were warranted. That's garbage. It had to have been 90s, high 90s. Those
Easy.
Original 360s were absolute shit, and they failed all the time.
Yep.
It's not if, it is when. If that thing was plugged in and the fucking power supply was in the cord.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. That thing was running so hot, even though it didn't even have a built-in PSU. Yeah.
And motherboard warpage is really what kickstarted. But I read that statistic. I'm like, maybe they're factoring in the later 360s, like the 360 Elites and the online 360s, whatever those were called, which were super rare. But the later 360s that addressed a lot of things, but not all of them, because fans didn't move shit for air.
Now that I'm thinking about that, yeah, the 360 and PS3 era was kind of an era where people were reflowing the motherboards on those things, because that was the issue, was the soldering. They just used weak ass solder.
Yeah, Microsoft terms, this solder was shit, but people literally would reheat the solder and put better thermal paste, and it fixed a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
Then they changed the fan orientation to actually make that fucking flow through the heatsink, not push it, kind of, which was another part of the heat issue.
Well, there was people throwing their. I remember the PS3 console in particular. People were putting the motherboards in the oven.
Yes,
they were just baking. They were just baking their motherboards.
yeah. They were fixing the solder problems, because I guess the original tactic, the robot doing the soldering, didn't heat the board up enough to truly make a good connection. So just over time, you get silicone warpage.
Oh, sure.
And that's what caused some random quits and errors and all of that. And obviously PS3 came out with the 17 and 19 blade fans in the later revisions that people would put back on the original Fat Boys. Yep. So PS3s you could fix. The 360, that was kind of a pile. And you can fix it, but it was kind of a pile.
No, I'm thinking of something else. I think I remember a video of somebody like putting a super heavy weight on their console to get it to run, but I think I'm thinking of the Sega CD.
Nope, that was 360. People literally, the fix would say they would put 20 pounds of books on the side of it to fucking squish it back together.
Yeah.
Because of all the problems. And I was watching a couple videos where it did work, and they said the longest you can expect this to work was about a week or two. because it
Right.
was still fucked. But
Yeah.
like, no way. People were like sitting on their Xbox to fucking get through a game of Madden. Like that's crazy. The shit we've gone through as gamers is just awesome.
It's super awesome. I love it when I spend hundreds of dollars of my hard-earned money for something that fucking breaks in a week.
Turbo awesome. I guess if you buy that loot box, it might last you another 20 minutes.
Yeah, or at least until the next DLC or the next season. The season pass shit. Oh my god.
Season pass.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh my god. So Microsoft, once again, we're talking about their aggressive strategy that's working currently. They're not stupid about it right now. They're being pretty proactive in that they're upping the ante against Valve by offering more money to PC game developers. So what that is in a nutshell is Valve does a 70-30 shake. The developer releases something on Steam. They take 70% of the profits. Valve takes 30. It's industry-wide, it's pretty fair because the App Store can take more than that, depending, and hence why your Epic companies side skirt and put links to purchase things on their websites to get around that and cause class action lawsuits. Fuck you, Apple. I hope Epic actually takes a W on that one, because the App Store is doesn't need to make another $1 trillion next year. So Microsoft is taking the approach of what was that 88-12 model. So the developer keeps 88% and Microsoft takes 12%. That's a big change from a 70-30. If you're talking millions and millions of dollars, that's a big deal. That's a lot of incentive to develop on Microsoft and push on Game Pass, which is working right now. So Microsoft is kind of taking the Sony approach. They're just trying to take everyone they can to develop on their platform and make it good. And then it can, it's going to PC, it's going to Xbox. Like there's a lot of flair there. That's a big deal.
Well, and what was the deal? So Sony and Microsoft actually started working together on something, and I forget. I know we talked about it on an episode like freaking long time ago.
Yeah.
But Sony and Microsoft had actually partnered up to work on some sort of project. So I'm wondering if it's almost as if Microsoft kind of picked up on Sony's strategies from the last generations or whatever. And now Microsoft is doing what Sony used to do, and Sony's just like, okay, we'll take a back seat because I know we're doing. Like, it feels like there's some sort of weird background deal going on that we're not aware of yet.
Right, and you mentioned it, which has me super worried. You mentioned it before about how we're waiting for Sony's answer to Game Pass. What if the fucking answer is a Game Pass and they're trying to team up?
And then you basically get the Game Pass, and then now you got your Sony titles available too. Because that would, in theory, benefit Sony as well. I mean, they would get a share, so would Microsoft, but it would all be funneled through this Game Pass thing.
It'd be funneled through the ecosystem of Microsoft, which is terrifying.
Just a little bit.
It'd be weird to see Microsoft and Sony's logos on the same screen together.
Yeah, that would be strange.
That's a monopoly, fellas. And
yes, Frank, we get it. Game Pass is awesome. Thank you.
It is awesome, though. I mean, Frank's got a point. So the Switch is rumored to be coming to Game Pass. I know none of that's solidified, but there is so much talk about it that.
So that would be Nintendo and Microsoft button up too, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, Microsoft is kind of that really, classy girl at the bar that, you see with one dude one week and another dude the other week. I don't know. That might be the roadie that gets everybody in the same room at the same time. I don't know. I know that's what Microsoft wants. They don't even need to make Xbox games if they can just, subcontract Sony and Nintendo and mix.
Yeah, but once you establish that kind of monopoly, then all of a sudden the price controls come into play, the competitive market goes away, and then all of a sudden games are ridiculously way more expensive than they should be.
Oh yeah, because and
then you start squeezing out the indie developers who want to release a game super cheap, and then it just all goes to hell after that.
And then you get the Stadia console that just streams on a Steam platform, and it works.
We start revisiting the video game crash of the 80s. You know, just a whole bunch of crap getting pumped out onto the market, and everybody just quits.
You start burying shit in the Mojave Desert, like it's not good. Oh, that happened. For those who are younger and don't know what I'm talking about, look up ET shitty game. Just look it up.
It's not even that ET was a bad game either. It just didn't perform well. Nobody liked playing it. But I mean, it really genuinely, considering its turnaround time was like what, 2 weeks or something like that.
It was something heinous. That
like
was
maybe 2 months. I don't know.
game.
It was a short turnaround. I mean, granted, it's confusing. And Atari, let's be honest, the Atari didn't really have great instructions.
yes.
Point in case, Raiders of the Lost Ark on Atari. Did you know you need 2 controllers to play that game? Because if you didn't,
A one-person game needed
for a one-person game, you needed both controllers. So if you didn't know that and you've been frustrated, like, how come I could never beat Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's because you forgot to use the second controller. Now, nowhere is that indicated that needs to be done. There's no like little tooltip text popping up in the screen saying, by the way, you need 2 controllers to play this game as a single-player game.
And look, I know Atari went the way of the dodo, and the VCS is a total joke, but that is kind of cool. Like, I love the subculture where you need the internet forum to get together to figure out how to actually beat a game.
My brother and I were trying to figure out how to even get through the first screen of that game. And we're like, why can't we pick up the grenade? Why can't we use the grenade? Why is nothing working? And then like we plugged in a second controller and it was like, oh, got it. Right.
It's a crock of shit, but it is kind of cool after the fact.
Nobody has ever said, damn, I love that ET game. People have said, fuck that Lost Ark game, but never, I loved ET.
Yeah.
I loved the Lost Ark game. It was fun once you figured out what you had to do, even though it was cryptic as hell. And so was ET, you know, when you think about it. But that was all Atari games.
Yeah, but
Any decent Atari game, anyway.
very true. But look at, oh man,
Galay.
you fucker, I love it.
I didn't mind ET. I know. Frank's in the chat, but you didn't love ET. Well, no, but I didn't mind it at all. I like to play it. It was fun.
Yeah,
Nobody even downloads it for the emulator. Whatever, dude. I got it.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go do it now
Right
just
now.
to spite you, Frank.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have downloaded it and played it and streamed it because it's that bad. But my thing is, we're gonna go nerds deep in it real quick. I promise. Video games were a lot harder back in the day, and video games nowadays are becoming easier and easier. Granted, Demon Souls, like, fucking keep it up, because that shit is tough. But a lot of games are freaking easy. And you pick up an original NES game, Paperboy. I'll fucking say it again. Paperboy was hard as shit. That game pissed me off. And there's plenty of, like, the Zelda Gold cartridge, the original Zelda. That fucking game sucked. That was tough. And you had to create maps by yourself before the internet gave you walkthroughs, or you bought it on whatever the walkthrough, Game Pro or something. Or you buy the big strategy guides that were color, that were pretty fucking sweet. Before all of that, man, games were tough.
Well, and just to hit on the difficulty of games nowadays, I mean, there is something to be said for casual games that you can play that are just fun and artistic and maybe not intuitive. So you do have some moments where you kind of have to think through it. But I just played a game, I think it was called Genesis Noir, and it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like you start playing this game and you don't understand what is going on at all, 100%. But you're still able to play it and look at it and figure your way through it without, too much thought. So it's like, it's one of those games that, like, it's when you finally get to the end of the game that you start to fully realize what the game was really all about from the beginning. And I think that's cool. Now, granted, it's an indie type of game. But that kind of reminds me of, like, Bendy and the Ink Machine, where it's, it's considered a horror game, but it's just kind of it's somewhat intuitive, but then there's parts that just absolutely make zero sense. and that if it weren't for the help of chat, you know, like I would have been sitting there like, what the hell am I even supposed to do in this game?
And that's what you call a mind bender.
You know, right. But still, it's you know, in a way, I guess games can be perceived as easier nowadays than back in the Nintendo days, Atari days. But
Yeah,
that was also born out of the fact that these were very simple machines, so there wasn't like a whole lot of avenue to make a difficulty scale, you know?
Yeah, easy, medium, hard, nightmare mode. There wasn't any of that shit. But
Right. It was just like, yep, this is what we can do with the machine that we got. So here you go.
here's a dungeon of some lines and some random shit that pops out just to kill you. Like, you have to time things, sequencing, memorization. Like, yeah, that's tough. That's really tough considering your margin for error was nil.
Yeah.
You had to time it perfectly. So yeah, I'll give it to you, Phil. There's good and bad today, and I'm just saying the median effort of all video games is way lower than what it used to be. And you're right, it was born out of necessity back in the day, and which kind of made it cool.
Well,
So-
and cryptic in a way. It was like, what was that? There was that game that never got finished, but it basically was offering prizes if you could beat certain puzzles and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, they had a really cool historical episode on that, where like the people who made it to these certain levels first were like called and that were given a code, and the developers like would invite them out and give them like swords and shit. I can't remember
Yep.
what the game was. Oh,
I forget the name. I forget the name of it as well. But yeah, there was like different. You got a sword. There was like a chalice.
A chalice. Yeah, there's like actually like fucking made of golden rubies and shit, like worth an ungodly amount of money. But I mean, that stuff is awesome. If we could do that to a game extremely difficult now, it may not sell millions and millions of copies, but
You
it'll
mean like Ready Player One? Anyways, moving on.
yeah. So, Frank, you said there was a sequel to that. When's that coming out? That's what I thought. E.T. was the best. You know this. So
Is Frank still talking?
I don't know. He might have croaked. He's been in and out of surgery all the time. Bless his heart.
I don't even know what is going on in there. All right. Anyways, moving on.
So Lost Soul aside, gorgeous fast action game is finally coming to the PS5. Originally announced in 2016. This game, oh geez, my wife. This game, the gameplay trailer was announced at E3, looked beautiful. Finally, this game is coming out, and this it looks very fast paced. Billy, I've given you a link. You mind pulling up the trailer for us, because this looks pretty intense.
Yeah, Lost Soul aside, gorgeous. But that was that was 2016. It's being developed on the Unreal Engine 4, and that was being made by one person.
It was. Now there's an actual team behind it. It's finally coming to fruition, and yeah, I hope it's awesome. It's very Final Fantasy VII-esque. The characters even look similar.
Well, and I was stoked that the composer for Devil May Cry 5 was involved in creating music for the game. I'm not like a huge Devil May Cry series fanatic, but I do appreciate that music in that game was pretty rad. I was pretty stoked about that. That's Cody Johnson.
Well, and I mean, a lot of people love Doom, and Gordon makes some amazing audio for that game. So if a game actually has like a true musical experience behind it by actual good composers, that means a lot more to me. And even a game that I might not like that much, I might actually buy just because it's got so much more effort put into the audio side of it.
Well,
气息在靠近，是他。教会已经下了通缉令，我猜你不会束手就擒。出手吧。
Very,
你不
no,
是
very Final Fantasy-esque for sure.
不必了。
Oh yeah, the hair gives it away immediately.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
ever notice? Did you ever notice that in every Final Fantasy game, all the hair is wispy?
Mm-hmm. It's like the realism. I mean, they banked on that for years. It's like,
Yeah,
look at the definition.
It's like, well, but they always just wisp the hair off the head. Like it's like you have long hair, but you also have those little short hairs that are wisping off your head. It's like it's like every time I see that, I'm immediately think Final Fantasy. It's like they couldn't figure out that, you know, maybe hair doesn't always go wispy, you know, but it's whatever.
I mean, it adds a kind of a coolness factor to it, I guess. So
I don't know. When are you gonna get that? When are you gonna get that hairstyle?
I don't have hair, so probably a while.
But if I got you a wig with that hairstyle, would you totally own it?
Yeah, yeah.
You would own it every single day.
Not every day, no. I would own it on the stream for sure.
Okay.
I might need a fan, so I don't like.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like maybe it looks cool in video games, but come on now.
That's true.
Yeah, every time it's a minute detail that I always pick up on when it comes to certain games is the hairstyle never changes.
Well, what was the fighting game? Was it Tekken on PlayStation 3 when you could see the individual blades of grass? Yeah. So every time I see grass waving around in any game, I think of that because it was so monumental back in the day.
It's like, look at these little blades of grass. It's like it has zero to do with the gameplay.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, that's so dumb, but it looked cool. Oh man.
But water is still a big thing for me. But
我想给你一个机会。
Yeah.
no,
man.
the game looks really fun, and considering that this all started from one developer, and to see it getting a backing and actually getting more development behind it, it seems really ambitious, but it also looks really freaking cool.
That does look sweet. Like the patterns, you have to dodge certain attacks. Those attacks look pretty freaking crazy. So, yeah, I think the gameplay looks pretty awesome.
It's almost getting to the graphical prowess where it overstimulates your eyes and your brain just can't comprehend what's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
So, and I know that happens because I've been in a situation where so much graphically just happened on the screen where I'm like, I don't even know how I died.
Yeah, it was pretty. That's all I know.
Yeah, I was like, woo, pretty. I'm dead. Oh, shit.
Oh, damn it. Frank, you say this game looks like garbage? Oh, wow.
But why? It's one thing to state an opinion, but it's another not to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's just being a troll. Thank you, Frank. We appreciate that. So, that's nice.
Wait, he didn't hear that. Frank's favorite game is Peggle.
Peggle?
Peggle.
Peggle?
Sure.
Maybe we should pull it up and compare it to this and see how good it holds up.
I'm pretty sure he's too busy with his fleshlight right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he can multitask from what he says. So, Bejeweled. Yeah. Fucking
Free
Candy
games to
Crush.
play at work. Okay. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, this is a 16-minute video?
Yeah, it's a while. You don't have to play the whole thing.
Okay.
Skip ahead just a little bit.
And maybe we get another boss fight or something. I like that freaking black dragon.
There you go.
Oh, dude, that looks cool as shit.
It does look cool. All those particle effects going on the entire time. It reminds me of when Bayonetta first came out. Remember when like
Bayonetta.
Yeah, that's a good reference there.
Dude, Bayonetta, when that came out, that was so visually impressive. I just wanted to play the game because of that. Like, I didn't even care about anything else. I was like, that game just looks amazing.
This game does have very much like Bayonetta vibes to it.
It does.
Yeah, it's like a Bayonetta Devil May Cry type crossover.
Yeah, with some Final Fantasy thrown in the middle.
For the hair, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, It does look good, dude. It might have really good ray tracing. Like
The only thing I can say is why it doesn't resemble Final Fantasy is we all know that Final Fantasy is usually turn-based combat.
and this is like single player.
Yeah, this is like kind of like when everybody was looking for the new God of War, right? We got Heavenly Sword, we've got Bayonetta, Devil May Cry came out, and they just
Xenoblade.
I'm sorry, what was that one?
Xenoblade or
Xenoblade, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just had that freestyle combat movement type battle. My brain just took a brain fart. Battle sequences.
That is a lot of shit going on, man. That's crazy
A
looking.
lot to pay attention to. But I love when you get into battles like that where they're just so epic and there's so much going on and you finally come through and the whole game quiets down for a minute.
Yeah,
And you set the controller down and you're like,
yeah. For sure. That has right now it has very much like a God of War feel to it.
I love that rewarding experience. And yeah, like in God of War, when you'd fight off like a big old titan or you'd kill off a god and you'd have this epic ending of killing this other god. And it was just like awesome.
This
Like,
game
it
looks badass.
it was rewarding to beat it. Not to shit on Dark Souls or Demon Souls or anything like that, but you still get those epic battles, but it's super hard and it's super frustrating. You're gonna die a lot. But a game where it's like visually impressive, you can at least maintain some control without feeling cheated. It's very rewarding when you beat big bosses like that.
This is
So I
awesome.
have high hopes for it. I'm stoked to see it.
Yeah, this looks better than I thought it would for sure. And yeah, the colors are great. Definitely some good ray tracing. I mean, I hope it's taxing because this thing looks like it could be really pretty on current gen. I guess you would call it current gen, but I'm pretty impressed so far that this started with one dude and now it's gonna finally come to fruition. This guy had a hell of a dream, and I hope it's not shitty because I want to see one dude. That is badass. Yeah, I want to see one dude finally like hang his hat on this. It's like, yep, I spent years developing this, and people love it.
I'm sorry, the ending there though, where like I'm expecting this big, huge explosion, and it's just like, poof.
Yep. Sparkles. Still got the flowy hair. It wasn't that bad of a fight.
Oh man, that
But
looks
yeah.
really cool.
So that was Lost Soulside. Kind of piggybacking off that, Returnal released some more trailer, and Returnal looks fucking awesome. It's just like nonstop boss fights, and every time you die, the game changes, so you can't figure out the sequencing. You just have to get better and run from different enemies.
Or restart your game and just keep going after it. I do like the concept of games adapting to your gameplay and not necessarily making it like popping up a screen saying, hey, it looks like you're having trouble, let's adjust the difficulty. It's just like, no, we're just going to manipulate the game a little bit so that way now everything else is different as you encounter it, which adds a lot of replay value when you think about it, like especially because speedrunning has kind of taken off as its own sport. And so you'll see these people put a game together and they're expecting it to take you about 8, maybe 12 hours, and people are speed running it in 20 minutes,
They are 4 minutes. Super Mario just got a new speedrun record yesterday. I mean, it was like 4 minutes and change. I don't know.
Jesus.
It kind of cheapens it because there's a lot of hacking. There's a lot of bug exploits and all of that. Returnal looks sick, and they're saying, especially for replay value, that you restart the game, it's different. You restart the game, it's different. It goes on a weird artificial like numeric dice roll and how the game is manipulated to you. So it wants you to play it through, because as you beat the game and you go through it again, it's a new game-esque. I guess they do modify the game for you. So
I am stoked for Returnal because that game did look really good.
yeah, I remember we first saw it and we were covering on the stream. We're like, I mean, it does look kind of cool. Like,
We just didn't have a whole lot of information on it. It was literally just a
and then
quick
as they piecemeal more trailers, we're like, holy shit, this is looking good. It doesn't look like a bunch of grinding. It looks like an assload of boss fights at the same time. You'll be in one room.
Maybe it's
like, boom, one boss, and then you'll scamper off to the next room, and there'll be a boss follow you that's different into 3 more bosses in this room. You're like, what the fuck? And you're just running away, hacking at shit. That's cool.
It's like they figured out how to take the walking simulator out of, Death Stranding.
Yeah. So, Phil, I don't know if you saw PlayStation Home trademark got renewed. That could be cool, but to me, it's like a year too late. You could have really made PlayStation Home. I don't know how much effort it would have taken. I assume a lot, but you think really not that much for how much, I don't know, how much liquid like money Sony can throw at something. The VR world really has taken off in the chat rooms and PlayStation Home.
VR chat. I've seen a lot of videos on VR chat. So PlayStation Home, when it first came out, that was the PS3, and immediately everybody was like enthralled by it because it was like finally like a virtual space where I could launch games, find friends, talk to everybody, have my own little space, find video game spaces for my favorite games to hang out with. Unfortunately, it got nerfed right out of the get-go. Thanks, trolls.
Yeah.
And they had to cut the voice chat stuff out, which made it completely useless and pointless. I am curious to see if they bring this into the VR world. I know that was the first thing people thought of back in 2016 or something like that. Sorry, what?
I was just gonna say I'm honestly curious if that they're gonna really integrate that into the VR, as you mentioned, because that would be interesting, and I think that's more of a better use of PlayStation Home than normal.
Well,
yeah.
Billy,
Absolutely.
if you think about it, we've talked about Game Pass and all these other things Microsoft and other companies have going for them. Sony's kind of resting on their laurels, and the PSVR is the one like creme de la creme thing Sony has over everybody. This could really be some sort of an answer. I won't say VR is ever the final answer for a game corporation, but it definitely would help.
Yeah, well, the other part of it being, though, is, I mean, they renewed this trademark all the way through 2028. So that means that they have a long-term interest in doing this. We know that the PS5 is going to get a PSVR. I know, if I remember correctly, you can use the PS4 VR with PS5.
Correct, yes.
But it's not, I guess we're waiting for the next generation of the VR, which I think, honestly, I think as far as bets go, I think within the next 5 years, we're really going to see advancements in the VR platform. Interesting that Microsoft is staying out of it. Maybe that's the hidden deal with Sony. Like, hey, we won't do VR. You do VR.
Yeah.
And we'll just host all the games on our platform.
But I mean, Xbox so funny. Phil Spencer's like, nope, we'll never do VR. VR is stupid. I hate it. It's the worst. And then Sony's like, hey, have you seen these PSVR 2 controllers? Boom, announced. And you're like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Yeah,
okay.
well, and VR chat and when I've seen what people have been putting together for VR games, it's really getting interesting. There's now some piloting games, so aircraft, if you're into that have virtualization, so you can be in a VR helmet. You can even move a cam around to look at yourself. I saw a creative video on it was excuse me. They were flying an A-10 Warthog, demonstrating the game and how you could just look around and literally not have to worry about setting up these ridiculous surrounding 270-degree angle screens. Just putting on a helmet and be able to look around in the world. Yeah. It looks great. The graphics, are subpar when you consider all the headroom that's going into generating that VR. But these standalone VR systems are getting better and better, and I cannot wait for a high-fidelity graphic game. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village. Imagine these horror games in VR. I know we've talked about this at length, but to see that kind of performance come around in the VR headsets would be amazing.
Yeah, I have the Oculus Quest 1, and I mean, some people may know this game, but Elite Dangerous, I know, Phil, you know of the game. It's actually got VR support.
Elite Dangerous does?
Yeah, And
Nice.
I hooked it up and I tried it, and I've actually got a better cable coming, so that way it can transfer data a little bit faster. And it's gorgeous. And it's awesome to be able to fly my spaceship around in space in VR and be able to like look around and feel like I'm really in the spaceship. And it's awesome. And
Yeah.
I really want to try it at Microsoft Flight Simulator, but that's why I need the cables. Microsoft Flight Simulator is a little bit heavier duty, and I need that 3.0 speed to be able to
The extra
actually
bandwidth.
enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the idea where we get this VR stuff, and then we also get cheaper, like kind of like the bodysuits with impact and stuff, so
Yeah.
that way you can actually feel
Yeah.
different rumbles on things.
Haptic
Yeah.
suits would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're out
just
there,
imagine-
but they're just
imagine playing
expensive.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we could just get the cost under control, which hopefully that'll happen, but I don't see it anytime soon because somebody couldn't. Anyways, we'll get there. But if those could come down to where they're affordable, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to do that. So, like, imagine playing Resident Evil and a zombie comes and bites your arm, and you feel that pinch, on your arm as you're playing. I mean, that kind of realism and immersion would be ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I'm totally looking forward to it.
It would almost be unplayable. Like Phil and I have talked about, a true 3D surround, and you have a horror game where you get a whisper on your neck, but
Yeah.
it's got a whisper and like a slight
A little
touch,
tingle.
and you turn around and there's nothing there. Like, that's
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and go bloop. I need a beer.
I need a couple beers and to sleep on this one. That's too.
And not only that, but now I gotta replaster my wall because I just punched a hole through it.
Oh man. Whew.
Although I do like the way that the Oculus, when you step out of your established safety zone, it reveals the cameras, so
Yes.
that way you can
It's cool
see
as
your,
shit.
your room around you, so you know if you're going too far.
And
Yeah.
what's nice is it has the Guardian system, which even if you start getting close to it, it lights up and puts up a big like grid system in
wall.
front of you.
Mhm.
And then if
Yeah.
if you get close to it, it lights up blue, but then if you get closer to it, it lights up red, and it's like you're almost on top of this.
Yeah, my buddy's Quest. I was playing with that the other day, and the Guardian system is impressive. I didn't know it worked that well. And
Oh yeah.
that was
It
pretty
even
cool.
it even has detection within your so you can draw out the Guardian barrier. So it like puts you in the pass-through camera, and you can see where you're drawing and whatnot. But it also will even tell you if there's things on the ground inside your barrier. So if you've got like a chair sitting within your barrier, it'll like
Yeah.
bring up these little lines and show you that there's something there.
There's an object.
Yeah.
Don't kick it or trip over it, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mind the children.
I mean,
the
it
children.
picked up like a shirt on the floor that was sitting inside, like, because I was playing out in the living room, and it just picked up like a shirt that I had sitting on the floor that was right there, and it had the little lines, and I walked over by it, and it like popped up and showed like there was something there.
Nice.
Man, that's cool as shit. Oh,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the advancements are still there. It's still being worked on. It's still being perfected. And so I'm intrigued by it. I'm looking forward to being able to experience it at some point where it's not so expensive to get so immersed into a game. But I mean, I don't see any reason not to pursue that kind of technology, just because. I mean, you remember back in the olden days, the virtuality.
yeah, virtual reality. Yep.
But it was called virtuality. VRTUALITY. Virtuality.
Virtuality.
But
Yeah.
it was those stand-up consoles and the sit-down consoles that you've had that big old helmet on, and everybody. I mean, it was the rage back then. I remember going down to the St. Louis Zoo, and
Yep.
and they had an arcade up in there, and you could go and try these things on for like $5 for like 10 minutes or something like that. And
Yeah.
it was amazing. When I was a kid, I was like, holy crap, like that's really awesome. Like, because it feels, you can just turn your head and that's how you look. You don't have to think, you just do.
Yeah.
And we could do that in games. That would be pretty rad.
Do you
getting-
remember?
And actually using your own body to manipulate.
Yeah. Do you remember the arcade systems where you'd walk into the arcade and it had that like thing hanging off the arcade? You'd like pull it down and like
Oh, yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
this.
Dang, yeah.
Those were
Yeah, so
cool. That
pretty
was
much
my
the same
like first
thing.
experience.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, virtual reality. I mean, I know the three of us are old enough to kind of see, maybe not its inception, but maybe its first like practice in a I don't know, a cheap enough affair to where it was around the country and we could experience it. Because VR's been a thing since the 70s.
Yeah.
yeah,
And now the fact that you can spend a few $100, don't even need a PC, and you can enjoy an experience that is impressive to people who understand virtual reality, let alone all the TikTok and Instagram videos I watch of your older folks that have a VR headset on and they're like eating the wall and jumping off the cliff and shit. Oh, it's so good. So good. Never gets old.
I love watching the older people because some of them are really, it's awesome to watch because they'll like put them in the like the ocean ones where the whales are going above them and they're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, oh.
Or
And
they're,
it's just-
or they're
it's
like
awesome.
walking the plank over the skyscraper
Oh,
and they're
God,
like
yeah.
fucking losing their mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so awesome. So awesome.
Oh, I know we've delved into VR long enough, but with this next section, when Billy, if you want to
Looking
pull that
forward
link
to it.
up while we talk about it.
Yes. Oh
I've already
my
got
God.
it up, but okay.
Speaking of immersion and next gen experiences, Phil, take it away.
No. So we had the Sony State of Play, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We got some new gameplay footage. It looks amazing. The sound effects. I turned up the volume on my stereo to kind of capture to see what they're doing with the sound. I still think that the sound is coming through pretty damn awesome. You can hear things kind of flying around you. They detailed some new play mechanics about
Nefarious?
how they're using the SSD, actually loading entire levels in when you do a Rift. The haptic feedbacks on pulling grenades, like depending on how you're pulling the trigger, it's going to let you know that you're doing a single shot versus full auto. Accessibility options, which blew my mind. I didn't even think about that, but it looks like they've got stuff in there for like color blindness correction, all kinds of stuff. Toggleable game speed modes. There's going to be glitch combats. There's going to be arena challenges, aerial combat, puzzles with Clank. I don't know if I'm remembering everything off the top of my head.
Yeah, you name.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you name it. This is finally the next gen experience to showcase the true SSD tech that we've been, I don't know, teased with for years now. And now that we finally have it, and now that we finally get to see the capabilities, I know, mark my words, you're going to see a lot of games in the next couple years at least. They're going to rehash this Portal technique because this game is going to show you what it's really all about. It's super addictive. I mean, the mass populace has to have this game. And I really, really hope it is a PS5 title. I really hope that this is as clean and as beautiful as it appears. I really believe it is. And yeah, this will make you want to get a PS5. And that's the game we've been waiting for since November, December.
Yeah, ever since it was launched, ever since the
People
PS5 was launched. And I mean, there was, man, it looks amazing. And when I was watching the game, we got like a full 15 minutes of that gameplay, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed you even later stages in the game when you get new bombs, like even the bomb effects and how they affect the environment, you'll be able to feel through the haptic feedback on the controllers. I mean, it's just so much cool stuff that the other part that blew me away was just the fidelity in the graphics, because Ratchet and Clank has always been known as kind of like playing a cartoon movie. And when I was watching the hair on Ratchet's, ears and stuff like that, and how it was interacting with shadows and stuff like that, it's just gotten better and better. And it feels like now you're playing a Pixar game. And it just, oh man.
We reference Pixar because it's so far beyond our expectations of cartoons, to where it's like, this isn't reality, but damn, this is like an alternative reality. It is so crisp. and that Ratchet and Clank looks that good. And for those who are maybe, I don't know, a little more seasoned video gamers, usually when you see a trailer, it's always cinematic, and it's always like, oh, this is your potential gameplay footage. And as you get closer to release, they release more footage, and it's always somewhat more degraded. It's grainier because they're kind of getting it closer to a finalized version. You know, maybe something that's not on stupid high-end PC or dev consoles.
Well, and what I love about it so much is that it's just dripping with that world that, you know, it used to be kind of hazy graphics. Maybe you could see a ship flying in the background, but it would just disappear behind some fog. And now you can actually watch a city just like drips coming off ladders. You can see reflections in the water, sparks flying everywhere. The ambient lighting, the ray tracing kind of, I know it's not 100% true ray tracing, but close enough. And you just watching how the whole environment breaks apart, and when you hear the little cogwheels fly around, and all of a sudden you can hear them coming from behind around the sides in stereo audio. There's just so much I love about this. It's like the one reason I would buy a PS5 alone is just to play this game, just because it's got so much going on with it, and it looks so damn good.
Instead of your, and I'm going to pose this argument to everyone, instead of your evolution of a game like another version of Call of Duty that's slightly better, this is your revolution of gameplay. I feel we're looking at it right now. This is what the next 2 years of games are going to strive to be, because this is so new, this is so good, it's going to be well executed, I think, to where the games will be compared to this for years, like normal Ratchet and Clank. But this, I mean, look at that. That's incredible.
That shit, every time they show that city shot, I had to rewind it a couple times because I was like, holy crap, like there's so much going on in there.
It's like Fifth Element, kind of.
Yeah, but, well, the other part of it too is depending on how you control your character. I mean, you can. This is all stuff you can touch, so it's not like just background, you know, streaming movie type stuff. It's all there. It's all there to be touched, played with, whatever.
So awesome.
And it just, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to play it. I'm stoked to get it in my hands. If I could just find a PS5 console. And this game, what is it? June, like. Not even mid-June. It's like June 10th or something.
Yeah.
June 11th. Sorry.
June 11th, yep. Yeah, it's coming quick, and this is what's going to make me have to get the hardware. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I will play this game.
And keep in mind, it is a standalone game. Therefore, if you buy the disc, you can pop this into your machine, and you do not need an internet connection. And that's what I love about it. It's keeping true to the Ratchet and Clank formula, where if you own the disc, you can play it anytime you want without having to worry about connecting to the internet.
And I can pick this up in 10 years and enjoy it again.
Yes.
That's what I love about it, is my return on investment is there in true original video game style. Yeah, this game will be fun as hell for you and I to pick back up in 5+ years. You know, when there's
easy. And even, you know, it'd be something I'd be happy to hand off if I had a little Rugrat running around. I'd be like, here, you know what? You want to play video games? Here, play this game. I've already played it a million times. You can, it's fine.
And then you're gonna watch him or her play it, and you're like, oh shit, give me that other controller, dude. Let's fire this up. I can't let you have that much fun. Like, man, this is gonna be a badass game. If Ragnarok can make me feel like I want to play it that much that Rift Apart does, oh man, God, I'm just gonna blow.
There was one specific scene, I think, when he was going to Club Nefarious, where you can kind of hear the muffled club noise, like the oomph, or whatever. But then as he kind of works his way around the corner and starts going into the entrance of the club, you can really hear the club music kind of take over, like as if you're there, you know, as you're walking into it. Which I know it sounds small, but these are little details that just absolutely make me happy, like a pig in shit. Just because of the detail, the orientation to detail to get that kind of feeling going on. And I can't imagine, like, as you go into different worlds, different rifts, like, you're going to get that atmospheric sound all the way around you every single time. So I'm stoked.
This is just well put together. This is going to be one of those games that you'll pick up and play all over again because of how good it is. You'll know it'll be similar experience, if not the same playthrough, but it's so well executed that it's okay. It's like reading a good book again if you read books.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people are like kind of shat on PlayStation for giving a state of play, which only had like 2 indie games and then 15 minutes of Ratchet and Clank. But they already told us that they were going to do this Ratchet and Clank state of play, and I'm glad they did and just dedicated most of it to this new Ratchet and Clank.
It was worth it. If they did this shit with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'd not want a PS5. But no, they did this to a game that was worthy of that praise.
Yeah, I can't wait to play that game. If you haven't watched the trailer, I do believe that they have it in high definition 4K up to 4K, I think.
Yes.
So check that out. Put on some headphones, the best headphones you got, and just enjoy the sights and sounds, and maybe ignore the commentator who chimes in once in a while. But it's really awesome looking. I'm stoked about it. And that's, I mean, I don't know if I can say anything more.
Yeah. We're just nerding out over here. It's just that good.
I just
just all the
games is
funny. That's the crazy thing.
They even put in a photo mode. They've got all kinds of accessibilities for texting or for the text on screen to make things easier to look at. So I'm actually really happy that they went that far, because there's a lot of games that people really want to play, and then there's certain accessibility issues that they just can't enjoy it as much as everyone else. So I was really stoked to hear about that as well.
Yep. This is going to be a title of titles, fellas and ladies. This is going to be a good one. If it lets down anything at all, I'll be surprised and really upset, because there's a lot of hype around this, and they didn't even push this game to that hype level. They showed the game, and it generated the hype like it should have.
They know it's going to be fine.
Yeah. It'll be good. Sony is definitely banking on this, not to just sell PS5s, because they're printing money at this point. They sell everything that's out there, and they will for years, I'm sure. But this is that game that brings you from Team Green to Team Blue, 100%. That's what Sony's really based their consoles off of, is exclusive.
Well, and they need more exclusives like this. I really wish more games would kind of take an approach like this. But
yeah, because with Game Pass and the things we brought up, Microsoft has a certain rhythm, and they're not afraid to use it. So
I just want to throw this out there, though. Is it not weird to you that we have had these new generation consoles out for a year now? And how many exclusives do we have for the new generation of consoles other than remakes? Like actual exclusive next generation developed games.
Is it Returnal? Is it just a PlayStation game?
It's literally like, yeah, Sony's got a couple.
Miles Morales.
Everything else has been remakes and remasters, whatever.
Yeah, it's shit, but it's making them money, and we're not telling them not to do it.
It just blows my mind they didn't have launch day and date games and console. There was not I remember when you got a PS4, you got at least one game. Hell, the Nintendo came with Super Mario Brothers. So
you got this, and it worked.
It's like you don't just buy a console and then sit on it to play your old games.
Here's a 3080 Ti. There's not
3 came out, and
we'll make games for it later. I promise.
Well, yeah, it seems ridiculous that in this go round we're gonna launch the console, but we don't have any day and date release titles to play on it. So, but hey, the good news is you can play your old games, and we'll remaster some that you can bring over to the console, and it'll be great.
The hardware was so bleeding edge, and it's not even a real next gen if you argue x86, but the hardware was so bleeding edge, it's almost like the dev kits didn't exist. And if they did get dev kits, it's almost like they didn't get the real kit, because real games are just now starting to come out. And this is a onesie-twosie affair. This isn't like, all right, 6 months later, boom, you have all the games should have had 6 months ago. COVID.
Yeah.
No, it's like in 2021, we might get 10 next-gen games, maybe, and probably less than that. Real next-gen experiences.
I just had a thing pop up in my head. Hold on.
Do your thing. You want me to ramble while you do your thing?
No, hold on. Okay. So the PS3 launch titles list, just we're throwing it out there. There was
like 8 or something. There was a lot of them.
Let's see. The full list of it was Resistance: Fall of Man, which got huge critical acclaim. They had NBA 07, Genji, Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II by Ubisoft, Call of Duty 3, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Fear, Full Auto 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Need for Speed Carbon, Sonic the Hedgehog. They even had Tony Hawk's Project 8 coming out. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas. These were all day of launch available to buy. Totaled about 21 games. The PS4 launched immediately with let's see, Angry Birds, Fortnite, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Ubisoft, Battlefield 4, Blacklight Retribution, Call of Duty Ghosts, Contract, which I don't think anybody really played, DC Universe Online. They had, of course, FIFA. There was that game Flower, which nobody really understood, but it was fun. It was fun. But then they had Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition, Just Dance, Killzone Shadowfall. Remember how everybody was like, "Oh man, Killzone looks amazing, PS4, woo!" And then of course they had Knack. I mean, listen, I'm just going down the list of launch titles. PS5 launch titles, Zip, Microsoft, Xbox launch titles. Zip.
Well, Miles Morales was a launch title. Granted, it was kind of a PS4 game, but really it showcased the load speeds. But if you argue it, it's kind of a PS4 title that they optimized for the PS5 out of the gate. But that's one fucking game.
One game.
Yeah.
PS5 launch titles. All right.
PS3 and
Miles
PS4
Morales.
launch lineup was weak, but within a few months, there were real PS3 and real PS4 games out there that captured the whole hardware. PS5, we are like 6 months in, and we're finally getting something. Not 1 month, 6 months. No, 7 months. Fuck.
Most of these were all, oh my god, these were all remakes. This is so dumb.
Yeah.
They even we remade Borderlands 3. Yeah.
Wow.
There was Miles Morales, then there was Demon's Souls, the remake from a PS3 title. So yeah, literally it was just remakes.
was great.
Miles Morales was like the one exclusive, I guess, at launch.
Yeah, arguable exclusive. And now we are Ratchet and Clank in June, 5 months-ish later. That's 6 months later. That's a long fucking time for one game that finally shows us what we bought in November, December.
What you can actually do with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. If it's damn good, it's worth it. But what Series X title is there? Oh, that's right. You have Game Pass. You have all the other shit they devote their efforts to. Why even buy an Xbox? Oh, I said it. Why even buy an Xbox?
I already have a refrigerator, so I don't,
It works really good. I'm going to crawl in it right now.
Oh, yeah. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That was definitely not.
What a first party title that was.
Watch
Not like
Dogs Legion, Dirt 5, Yakuza 7, Tetris Effect. But they're coming. Yeah, it's. They're not even day and date launches. Well, the headline launch game, Halo Infinite, that was their big next gen title that didn't have anything to do with previous generations, is still getting worked on somehow. Yeah. But all the titles available, it was via the Game Pass. So it was basically games that were already released that you could just play on it. It didn't come with any actual real launch games.
Well, I think there is a game that shall not be named that had to play with a lot of launch titles not coming out.
Who would that be?
What?
No. It rhymes with
Correct?
Ryberfunk.
Right.
Well, you put more effort into a creative joke than they did the whole game, so good job.
Yay.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah. Cyberpunk was supposed to be many things. So,
and I think it's because of that is why a lot of development companies were like, Maybe we should do another couple once-overs.
You know what, stockholders, 2020 is not looking great. 2021 is not looking great. 2022 it is. We'll release our shit and make a bunch of money.
Let's just all hope it all works.
Yeah. Yeah, 2022 will be a year of real releases. 21, I hope we get a few, and that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a few.
I will
Yeah,
say,
well-
Do what?
I know the Medium isn't a next-gen necessarily game.
That's
But I
what they
played-
said it was.
Well, I know it is next-gen, but I meant it's also on the older consoles, right?
Yeah.
I will say though, that game coming out this year, that one is actually pretty cool. I played the first couple hours of it, and it's pretty cool.
Nice. But I'm waiting for the, like Ratchet and Clank. I'm waiting for specifically designed for the next generation
Yeah.
consoles games.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not backwards. You can't pop them into your PS4. There's not this like free PS4 to PS5 upgrade bullcrap.
Yeah.
I want to see a game fully developed specifically for the next generation hardware, taking full advantage of that hardware. Remember, we used to benchmark this crap off Naughty Dog with Uncharted back in the PS3 days.
Yep.
I think I'm trying to. I just brain farted on the PS4 title, but you would benchmark on the release games for that console. And we just haven't had a chance to see that yet. It's just all been like,
Yeah.
Yeah, remaster, optimized.
yeah, we're gonna take a PS4 game and we're gonna def it up for PS5. That is not a game coded for that next generation console, and that's what I've been waiting for this entire time.
We'll finally.
And it blows my mind. It's been over a year
It's fucking June.
on both sides of the line, like Xbox or
When
Sony.
did when did the PS5 release? And Xbox
November?
November.
June-
So we're about
December.
a
We're gonna be
6-7 months. Yeah, 6-7 months.
Oh,
in.
okay, so 6-7 months. Okay, so not even a year, but still.
The game's not releasing until the console's been out for a year, though. So
Right.
you're not
Same
wrong.
thing. Whatever. Point being is usually when a console comes out, it has games ready to go with that new hardware.
Yeah, something you plug in and you're like, holy shit, this is what I was waiting for.
Yeah, this is what I spent my money for.
Yeah. I'm so glad I bought this console so I can enjoy this experience. And
Speaking of getting these next generation of consoles, don't plan on anything anytime soon. We can thank a semiconductor issue,
Yeah.
chip shortage.
TSMC.
We knew that it was coming back when the pandemic started last year for COVID-19. We knew that eventually this was going to lead to production issues. Unfortunately, at the time, we also had somebody who created a trade issue in the United States. And that's also created an issue down the line now to where we're sitting here waiting on chips. And this bleeds into issues with cars, various electronics. This has a wide-reaching impact beyond consoles and graphics cards. So it's gonna suck. So if you were hoping that you could get a lot of cool GPUs or build a computer anytime soon, do it as quickly as you can because it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. You're going to see a lot of aftermarket sales of GPUs just because people just need something, and so you're going to see those prices kind of go up. It's going to create its own kind of black market.
A lot of used stuff going for over new prices kind of thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, and this also causes problems for bigger companies because companies, believe it or not, use semiconductors to feed the technology that feeds your consumerism. So you're also going to see changes in the way business models have to be done. You're going to see a lot of weird price hikes that kind of seem arbitrary, but is as a result of this. I can't give you specific figures, but I can say that it is going to be a wave. How long that lasts, I just don't freaking know. The best estimate I could give you is at least through the end of this year. That's being generous, I guess. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks that we're in a situation where we can't go pick up a GPU whenever we want, or a console. We can't even get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X whenever we want.
Yeah, I mean, it trickles to everything. I can't buy a new Ford truck because they're sitting, not getting semiconductors. They're waiting.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have some supply that'll get you by or whatever, but all the new stuff that's coming out, it's probably not going to be coming out as quickly as everybody anticipated. Cell phones prices may go up. It just depends on how the market evolves and what changes soon.
Cool.
Ford is out of work for 6 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, it's a problem. There's over 1 million Ford trucks sitting because they're waiting on seat foams and semiconductors and chips. Yeah.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
Yeah. And that they had to stop production weeks ago because of it. So they're
Yeah, so you're gonna see semiconductor shipments in batches going to wherever they get the higher price. So I have a feeling that's gonna be a trickle down to the consumer. It's wild. It's weird to see the lag effect, but when you look at when the pandemic happened last year, that was in March is when it really kicked off. And then we're just now coming through April, and everybody's hearing about this mass shortage of semiconductors. So all that time that the workers were out of the factory, now they're coming back to work. You're going to see yet another lag before that production finally comes into the supply chain. Because believe it or not, with all this technological advancements, we still ship shit on fucking boats.
and then it goes to America and it goes in a truck.
Goes in a big container, gets put on a semi, and then it has to be driven across the country and then delivered to your door. It's amazing to me that we have not figured out anything better than that. But hey, it is what it is.
Go on a train, Phil. Those are pretty new technology.
Yeah, on a train. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So
I thought we had teleporters by now. I guess I was wrong.
Honestly, we were teleporting light like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I don't know what happened, but apparently we just kind of gave up after light, and now we're trying to figure out how to, I don't know, teleport organic matter. I don't know.
I would like my Prime package to actually be 2 fucking days again. Is that so much to ask Amazon? We can transport light, and that's particles.
It's got and here's the worst part about that is even the transportation industry, gas is going to face a shortage this year because they don't have enough truck drivers.
Yeah,
Pandemic,
all the people
they're like, screw it, I'm going to retire, and nobody wants to really be a truck driver.
Yep, and the refinery shut down for months due to COVID, so there's the shortage there. Semiconductor thing is a two-folded issue. If they never shut down and there was no issue with COVID, we would be facing shortages anyway because of just a natural industry demand is so insane. And then, you shut everything down for 6 months. Yeah, we're in a real crock of shit now. And there's no end of it, not for another year, at least. So, on those depressing news articles.
Yay, beer.
Tell us your feedback. Give us something to chew on for next week. And if you're watching this later, send us a message. We're happy to hear from you. We'll give you a shout out. Let us know what to talk about. You want us to talk about something retro, please let us know. We love talking retro and old school shit that led us to where we are today. So thank you so much for tuning in to Nerds Deep. We really appreciate it.
So unfortunately,
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Ooh,
we're going to have to talk for a minute for this timer to run out because I don't have a way to just kick through the raid.
About that.
Make sure that you take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, more importantly.
That's right.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week for getting a little bit more deep and frank. Since he can't seem to shut up.
That was sexy for a second. Frank, thank you for commenting so much and trolling us. We really appreciate it. We really, really do.
We like it when you set up sources and then forget, a whole bunch of crap.
It does look nice, though.
Enjoy playing your Bejeweled all week. We appreciate that, Frank.
All right. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.